Good morning, YouTube family. This is Coach Erica Janelle. I know it's been a while since I've been before you guys. I am on my way to work as usual, but I was wanting to share something with you that I've been seeing a lot of and hearing a lot of in the media, and I think it goes hand in hand with the last video that I've done on divorce, and that's about knowing your value and your worth enough to know when you've had enough and when enough is enough. And what I mean by that is, just because you're in a marriage, it doesn't mean that it's okay for someone to abuse you, whether verbally, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. It doesn't mean that it's okay to accept that type of behavior and to continue in a marriage that is not necessarily healthy for you. Sorry, this sun is serious. It's been very painful to watch some of the things that I'm seeing in the media. There have been husbands that have killed their wives due to domestic disputes, and there have been instances where just people I know, and even in my own experience, where I've dealt with abuse. And it's not ever acceptable in any way, shape, or form for anyone to put their hands on you, whether you're married to that person or you're dating that person or whatever it may be, or for you to put your hands on anybody. So it's never a reason to ever get physical. And if you get physical in a relationship, it's time to go. If you find yourself allowing that person to get you that upset to where you feel like you have to put your hands on them, it's time to go. There is no salvaging it. It's no going to therapy and counseling to see if this is going to change. Because one thing I can tell you from experience, and not just my own experience, but friends' experiences, family members' experiences. I even watched my dad abuse my mom. And I will tell you this, abusers never change. They always end up, once they've crossed that boundary and that barrier of putting their hands on you, that does not do anything but get perpetually worse over time. And it may not ever start as a physical thing. It may start as emotional. A lot of times it does. A lot of times it'll be your spouse making you feel less than, belittling you, making you feel like you're inferior or not good enough. It usually starts that way, and then it progresses. It may be a shove. It may be them throwing something at you, throwing something at the wall, putting a hole in the wall, those types of things. And then eventually it moves into where they feel as though, okay, well, you tolerated this behavior, so it's time for you to tolerate me putting my hands on you, not just on things, not just throwing things at you, not just, punching holes in walls or throwing dishes at your head. Now it's time for me to put my hands on you. If you are ever in a situation like that, I don't care what anybody else says. This is something that I am not going to pacify you in or make you feel good. This is something I'm telling you from experience. Get out. Do not think twice, or as they say in Monopoly, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Get out. And I know it's easier said than done in a lot of cases, but you're talking to a woman who has experienced it. I have been through two domestic relationships, marriages, and I left with children, one without a job and a career. I built my own career from the ground up and became an HR director. So let me tell you something. I don't care what your situation is. There are shelters. There are church facilities. There are groups, there are nonprofits that are there to help you in a situation like that. You have to get away from that person, because I am sick and tired of watching the news and seeing women die at the hands of their abusers, or seeing men get abused by women, because I've seen both. I've literally seen a woman in the mall slap her husband in the face. It just blew my mind. Like, I was floored. If you're in a position where you got to get physical to get your point across with another person, you are in the wrong relationship, and it is time to walk away. I don't feel like there are any exceptions. There are no exceptions, because it could be one day that that person chokes you just a little too long and you don't wake up. One day they punch a little bit too hard and they end up fracturing your skull and you die. And it's not fair to your children. It's not fair to your family. It's not fair to you to have to suffer in a relationship like that when it's unhealthy. God will never ordain you to be in a relationship where a person is abusing you. He will never ordain it. An abuser is usually very insecure and very damaged themselves, and as a result of them not taking the time to heal appropriately as a human, they take their frustration and their pressure out on others. And it cannot be. You have to stand up and know that you do not deserve that type of behavior, and you've got to stand up and you've got to say, no, you're not going to put your hands on me. You're not going to raise your voice at me and yell at me and disrespect me, call me out of my name. You're not going to do those things. You have to know how to love yourself enough to know when somebody is not treating you the way that you deserve. I urge you guys to please pay attention to the signs that you see when you are dating these people before you get in a marriage. If there was one lesson I could have taught and that I do teach my daughters and my son, if you see some red flags in the relationships that show you that this person can potentially be abusive and put their hands on you, you leave that person then. You don't wait till it escalates. You don't wait until you're in a position where they've actually put their hands on you. I had to learn it the hard way. And it's interesting for me because my only memories of my father are him coming in the house when me and my sister was in the kitchen helping my mom cook and just taking the knife out of her hand for no reason and putting it up to her neck. And for me, I always decided that I was never going to be with a man that would do that to me. So I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. However, I ended up in a marriage with two people that put their hands on me. And so I have to tell you guys, if it's getting to that point, you have to walk away. Now, I will say in my second marriage, he had never put his hands on me until after we were married. But the first time he put his hands on me, he slapped me in my face while I was driving. And we were having not even an argument, just a disagreement. And he slapped me in my face, and I was in such shock. Now, I'm not a small woman. I'm 5'7". You know, I'm a pretty healthy woman. But he was 6'3" and 260-something pounds. And it literally caused me to swerve in another lane as I was driving. Now, we were 2 weeks into marriage, and this was the very first time that he put his hands on me. And I should have gotten an annulment at that point. But I stayed with him for 10 years, thinking that things would change, thinking that the apologies meant something, thinking that, you know, he would never do it again. But I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, if it's happened once, it will happen again. So I want you guys to understand, I'm not saying this because I believe in divorce. I don't believe in divorce, despite the fact that I've been divorced twice. I don't allow anyone to judge me for that, and I don't care what people think of me for it. I know I put my effort into my marriages. I know what my story is. I know what I went through in my marriages, and I know how I fought. So nobody's opinion of me matters. And just like in your situation, you're going to have people to judge you. Oh, you should never leave your husband and blah, blah, blah. You have to do what you have to do to protect you and your children. That is your number one priority, yourself and your children. The light bulb turned on for me when I realized that I did not want my son to think it was acceptable to put his hands on a woman whenever he had conflict. And ironically, when my son witnessed my ex-husband disrespecting me, calling me out of my name, and putting his hands in my face and choking me and all of those things, I realized it was like the light bulb went off, and it took me 10 years. The light bulb went off, and it said to me, this is the image that you're showing your kids. You're showing your girls that it's okay for a man to put his hands on you, and you're showing your son that it's okay for him to express himself when he's upset about something by putting his hands on a woman. And that was the turning point for me, because I refuse to intentionally cause damage to my children. We as parents, we judge ourselves pretty harsh anyway about how we raise our children and the things that we do around our children. And we're so cognizant, if you're a good parent, you're so cognizant of not damaging your children, so you try your best to do everything not to damage your children. And I'm 100% that way. However, I had to realize that with my son and my daughter seeing this behavior, both of my daughters, seeing this behavior, it was not healthy for them, and it was giving them a bad image of what a relationship is supposed to be. So I urge you guys, please, please, please take it seriously. Pay attention to the red flags. Pay attention to the control. Because a lot of times, the guys that are physically abusive are controlling. One of my very, very close friends is dealing with a divorce right now. And I can't say for sure whether or not he put his hands on her, but I can tell you this. He has been extremely, extremely controlling to the point of putting tracking devices on her car and on her phone. He has punched holes in walls. He has raised his voice and disrespected her, calling her all kinds of names. So I'm pretty sure, just because of my experience in this, I'm pretty sure he's come close to, if not already, having put his hands on her. And I'm so glad that she's walking away. And it wasn't easy. You're talking 20 years of marriage. That's a long time to be with a person. But you have to realistically ask yourself, how many years of abuse was I allowing to happen? How many years was I allowing this person to hurt me and to disrespect me in this way, and I tolerated it to the point where they thought that this behavior was acceptable. And I know I sound really passionate about it because I am passionate about it. If it means it saves one person's life, take it from me. Walk away. I don't care about your possessions. I left not only my spouse, but I left with the clothes on my back and a little bit of money in my bank account, I think $200 or $300. And I did not only leave him with 3 kids, but I left him with and went to another state. So what I'm saying to you is, I don't care about how difficult it is. I'm not being insensitive, but you can get help. There are programs, there are resources, there are places that help you. Get on Google and research it. But it is not an excuse to say, oh, well, my kids, oh, well, I don't know how we're going to survive. That's not an excuse to stay in a relationship where somebody's putting their hands on you, somebody's abusing you, and causing you mental stress, strain, because the psychological effects of that will affect you for years to come. And it took me years to heal from the hurt and the abuse from both of my marriages, to the point where my tolerance level for shenanigans is at 0 in relationships. I went through too much to ever go back to that. I will never go back to that because I know what it felt like. I know what it felt like watching my mother go through it. And I promise you, you can get through it. Get the help you need. Call the people you need to call. If you need to reach out to me, you can call me on my Google Voice number on ericajanelle.com. Reach out to me. Tell me what your situation is, and we will research the resources together. But I do not want you staying in a relationship where your life is in danger. You have to go away. It could be one moment, and this man or this woman can end your life. It is that serious. It happens every day. It happens far too often. It happens far too frequently. And I was graced and blessed to be able to come out of an abusive marriage twice and be able to stand before you here today and tell you from experience, walk away. It's not worth it. I know what you envisioned when you got married to this person. I know you envisioned spending the rest of your life with him or her and building your family with him or her. But let's be clear about something. It doesn't always work out the way we plan for it to work, but that does not mean you stay in something that is unhealthy. I love you guys with all the love that God has put on the inside of me. I want to teach you how to walk away. If you need to book a session for life coaching, I am available at mymentor.life/Erica Bostwick, Or, like I said, you can reach me on my website, ericajanelle.com. It's my life coaching website, and I am here to help you with whatever resources we can come up with together. It's not a game. It's not a game. This is not cute. It's not cute that you have to fight with your spouse or your mate. It's not cute. We're not doing that. It's about to be a new year, and I want to see all of you make it into next year. Not because you had to die at the hand of somebody else, that you can't even fulfill the destiny and the purpose that God had for your life. I'm passionate about it, and I can't even apologize for my passion because I love you guys, and I want to see you prosper. I want to see you grow. I want to see you become everything that God created for you to be. So please, please, please take heed. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. I will be trying to do more videos. I'm sorry, my life is just a little bit crazy busy right now. But I promise you guys I'm going to try to at least post 2 more videos before the week is out. And I have not forgotten my YouTube followers. I apologize. I have not gotten this ebook yet. But there is a glitch, and there's something that I need to do in order to link it to where I can get the book over to you guys. As soon as I get it fixed, I promise you guys you will get your book of affirmations. I love you guys. Have a wonderful week, and just stay safe. Thank you.